What's going on, guys? I'm doing some inspections on cars, and then we're gonna go to we're gonna talk about this. I'm trying to let the people build up and get in here. What is going on? I see somebody's already here. What's going on, guys? So we got 17 people here. Good morning. Good morning. Is this thing having a hard time adjusting? "28 people here. Good morning. Yeah, it is colder than a witch's tit in a brass bra. That's for sure. I need help, boss. Light storm. I need help too, buddy. We all need help. Light storm also. You have to realize I don't work at a Ford dealer anymore, man. So it's not as easy for me to just go look things up like it was before. O2 fuels? No, I don't know about it. I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's located or any of that. I would have to actually look it up. I don't know about the advanced story. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I have no clue about it. What I do have a clue about is what's been going on lately with these mass shootings, though, and that's what I want to talk about before anything else. So let's hold the auto stuff right now until I'm done talking about that, please. Good morning. It's feels like it's negative outside today here, Negan. So yeah. Do you guys know about what's been happening lately? I don't really know. The bald mechanic, I'm not sure. I know I stopped counting at like 80, 85 pounds or something like that, 90 pounds. I just quit talking. I quit counting. Now I just work out, and I just go based on how my clothes feels. I'm trying to stay off the scale as much as possible because it was starting to mentally screw with me. So I just work out and just eat clean and just keep getting healthier. Yeah, Australia. There's a mass shooting at the beach in Australia where two Muslim guys, a father 50 years old and a son 24 years old, went with the father's 7 registered guns and took Overwatch from an overpass, and they, not an overpass, but like a little bridge from the parking lot area to the beach, and there was about, they said, roughly 1,000 Jewish people celebrating the first day of Hanukkah, and they basically opened fire into this Jewish community, this group of people that were there. And when I tell you the shooter was shooting, he was shooting like he was trained, like military trained, like not the typical person type trained. And they were using a bolt action rifle, or he was. And you could see him as he was shooting. When he needed to reload, he would flip back, flip it up, flip down, flip back forward. Boom, 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 boom. Like the mechanism of how he practiced this over and over and over and over and over again and got through those rounds, this dude was experienced. He practiced for this very, very well. When he went to take a knee, he didn't just take a knee like a normal person. He actually took a knee. Let's see if I can demonstrate this. There were some things that I picked up that we did in the military when we trained. When he took a knee, he went from the shooting position and he came down like this on one knee, and he kept up in the shooting position, and he would come up and he would peek and then come back down, come up and peek, come back down, and then he kept his weapon in the direction of how he wanted to fire the entire time. Came up and he would get right back into his firing stance. It's a way in the military they taught us, they trained us, that you never take your eyes off the prize. You never take your eyes off what you're doing. You never take your eyes off in the direction you're shooting. You never take the muzzle out of that area. And the way his transition was from up, down, and how fluent he was, this guy wasn't, it wasn't his first rodeo firing a weapon. It wasn't his first rodeo firing a bolt action rifle. It wasn't his first rodeo responding to speed and how he was actually going through doing it. And when you watch the videos of it, when he first started to shoot, right before that, when he initiated the first shots, he actually beckoned to the crowd on the side and he told them to get out of the way, telling them to get out of that area, that he wasn't aiming for them. He was going to be aiming for the Jewish community that was down in the beach. This was a targeted attack. This 100% was them going after Jewish people. This was 1,000% a hate crime. And all 7 of the weapons that were registered to the father were used in this shooting. They said they've recovered all 7 weapons were at the scene or something to that extent. And they were legally registered through Australia's ownership program that they have. And it's illegal in public to actually carry a weapon to defend yourself. So you're at the mercy of waiting for help to get there, running and hiding, or fighting back with your hands or a knife or something like that. You can't carry weapons in public. So these people couldn't even defend themselves based on what the law had to say. And the police absolutely looked terrified, like they didn't even know what to do. They were actually freezing up in some of the videos versus the public actually getting involved and trying to take the threat down and stop it from continuing to take lives. The way this guy was reacting to fire back at him, the way he was reacting to moving from position to position, he's been practicing this. He was up on one corner, up and over it, back down, moved to another corner, up and over it, back down. The way he was transitioning from his movements, this is something that he's been planning. This was something that was practiced. This kid is no joke when it comes to a young man, I should say, not kid. He's a kid to me, but 24 years old and can move that and is that proficient with using a firearm and reloading. His father had him training. His father was a sloppy mess. On the other hand, the 50-year-old dude, he was just a sloppy mess. He would be no good as a fighter in general, but he was out there shooting people as well from a distance. And it really shocks me the amount of bravery that the local citizens had, especially the one guy, which is Muslim. He was not a radical Muslim. They say he was Muslim as well. He ran from the side and grabbed that guy and ripped the rifle out of his hand, took him to the ground, and then he got up and he started to go to another area and get away from him as the guy took his rifle from him. That showed a lot of strength to not take that rifle and unload into that guy right there where he stood. I can't say most people wouldn't have just finished it right then and there and laid that guy out where he stayed, not knowing if he had another weapon or anything while there's another active shooter shooting overhead. I'm surprised he just didn't lay his ass out right there when he took that rifle away from him, just because there was so much going on. You knew he was a threat. You knew he was the enemy. You knew he was the aggressor. It would have almost been justified just to put the threat down, to move on to the other area, to stop the other guy from continuing to engage innocent civilians that had nothing to do with anything that these guys had going on. A cowardly attack. Cowardly attack. Look, I'm sorry. If you're a diehard Muslim and you've been radicalized and you're of the mindset that everybody should follow Sharia law, everybody should be this, everybody should be that when it comes to your religion, if you're a radical religion person of any kind, you don't deserve to be out in public with everybody else. You don't deserve to live amongst people in the rest of the world. If you're radicalized, I'm sorry. Radicalized means that you have no regard for other people's life outside of what you believe. And if you believe that way, then I don't believe you should be breathing, honestly, because you're a threat to other living people. You're a threat to innocent people that have nothing to do with your religion, nothing to do with your beliefs. You should be locked up in a camp somewhere by yourself and not let out if that's how you believe the rest of society should live, or you should not be breathing. There's no room in the world for people that are radicalized. None. Zero. And if we accept that in general, then we're part of the problem. If we make excuses for that, then we are part of the problem. And then right before that, look what just happened in Texas. The 15-year-old that was planning to kill his girlfriend at school, outside of school, and decides that he wants to show up to school and kill her, but then backs off and goes to her house instead and kills her two siblings and the mother, and then flees from the police. 15 years old. Let me go back to the Aussie thing real quick. They were already watching one of the father or son. They were already on a possible threat list, but it hadn't reached the point of being a threat to the point where they had to do anything yet. God damn it, if you're a threat and you're on the radar and you're being looked at, go do something about it. Why are we waiting? Why are we asking for acceptance? Why are we giving them leeway? Go investigate it and do something about it so other people don't have to lose their freaking lives. It doesn't matter if one person is done unjust. Go do it. Figure it out. Investigate it. Lock the dude up until you can figure it out. Is he a threat or not? It's not worth leaving somebody like that out on the streets to let them continue to do and plan and train to take other innocent lives. How are authorities not that smart, or how are politicians not smart enough to realize you can't leave people like that on the streets? You just cannot do it. And they continue to do it. Yeah, we cannot tolerate two groups of foreigners fighting in any country, in our country especially. We can't. We need to stop tolerating entire ethnic groups moving into areas and just making whatever it is in the United States of America theirs. This is not theirs. This doesn't need to be an Indian community. This doesn't need to be a Polish community. This doesn't need to be a Mexican community. That right there in itself is further creating division. We all should be living amongst each other, living with each other, taking care of each other. We should be mingling with each other. Once we allow these things to start happening, this is exactly what breeds division. This is exactly what breeds the problems and stuff that we have. And why we're accepting people into our country from other countries that haven't clearly been vetted, it's, to me, that is enough to say that it's a government on human being crime. This is beyond anything that should be accepted. When the government allows these things to happen and then they tell us how we're supposed to think, this is exactly what Reagan was talking about. This is exactly what Malcolm X was talking about. This is exactly what these people have been telling us is going to happen. It's actually freaking happening. We need to stop being accepted. We need to stop showing acceptance of the constant division, the constant. Oh, that's not a white community. That's an Asian community. Oh, that's not an Asian community over there. That's a black community. Stop. Just stop. If we didn't allow that type of stuff to happen and we all mingled with each other and lived with each other and took care of each other, this shit wouldn't be going on. We would learn to love each other. But instead, this is what's going on. We allow radicalized groups that believe in certain religions into our countries, and then they end up taking the lives of innocent people. We have enough issues going on where our own people are taking the lives of our own people. Why would we allow people from foreign countries that are evil, that are radicalized, into our country to do the same thing? We have to focus on our own stuff before we can focus on other stuff. Then, like I said, the 15-year-old down in Texas, it was going to kill his girlfriend outside of school, but instead went to her parents' house and killed the mom and the two siblings. Are you freaking kidding me, man? How did you not see this? How did you not see any sign that this kid was a threat? How did you not see any sign at all that there was an issue with this child, this teenager, that there had to have been something there. Something was missed. And how many times have we heard it? That, oh, he's been pulled in and counseled over and over and over again, and they do nothing about it. These are people that need special help. They don't need to be around other people in society. How fucking more clear do we have to be? Sorry for the swearing, but it pisses me off. And then you got the man. Then you have the Pennsylvania shooting, where this guy just goes into this school and starts blowing people away. And now the person that they had in custody that they thought was a suspect they wanted just found out they don't even have the guy. They don't know where he is. They have no. Last I seen, they have no information on it. You know. And I was having a conversation this weekend with like these protests and these marches and stuff that were going on, and I was talking to a biracial, gay couple. It was the wife of the wife, and I was talking to her, and I said, you know what's shocking to me? One is white, one is black. I said, what's shocking to me is these protests and all this other stuff that divides America, that further divides us and drives a wedge between us, is absolutely ludicrous. And she says, okay, she's listening. She's interested in what I have to say. She's a therapist. And I said, why are we doing all these freaking protests with people that hate us anyway? And she was like, I'm confused. What are you talking about? I said, how many black people do you know of that actually get along with Hispanic people? How many Hispanic people do you know of that actually get along with all black people? They don't. A huge majority of them don't even like each other. But yet they're going to go protest and march with each other, skins of color flock together type thing. Let's go ahead and support each other for equality and the same rights and everything else. We got to get our brothers and sisters involved. You don't see white people getting invited to that stuff. Barely. It's brown people, brown skin and brown skin. But they hate each other. Before it, they hate each other. Then they got a fake, put on this facade, go support each other and protest together. Then afterwards, go right back to hating each other and being racist. Do you not get what I'm saying? And she was like, never thought about it that way, but that's 100% true. That's exactly what goes on. There's literally communities where Hispanic people and black people aren't even invited to be together because they're always fighting and killing each other, especially in Chicago. If you're from Chicago, do you not know Brighton Park? Do you not know the areas where the illegals and stuff have moved to, and the fucking turf wars that are being kind of like swept under the rug, where it's the black community fighting the Hispanic community? They don't like each other, but yet they're going to turn around and go out and protest together, and then go right back to being racist and hating each other. Like, we need to stop this stuff. Stop playing this freaking game where we're trying to divide people and go protest and make it seem like we're fighting for this just cause when it's all a bunch of bullshit anyway. And actually start getting everybody get together and trying to focus on the common cause. It's not dividing. That's not about color. It's about living the American way of life. Being successful business owners and raising our children in safe communities and schools that actually are not indoctrinating our children. Respecting police officers and military and going back to understanding the great life and opportunity that we have. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I'm so upset, man. I'm so freaking upset. I'm so upset. I think lawsuits are going to be filed concerning the man they detained. Oh yeah, I mean, if they detained the wrong man and then they put his name all over social media, they're screwed. They are screwed. There's nothing that they're going to be able to do about it. At what point in time, as a society, do we come together and do we say enough is enough? At what point in time do us as men stop being cowards and hiding behind everything and actually start putting our face out there and going and standing up for what we believe in? When does that take place? Is it too cold outside for that right now? I mean, what I don't understand is, when is the movement of bringing God back into people's life? When is the movement of actually disciplining children for doing things wrong? When is the movement of actually taking care of a family and being a man and believing in God? Or just being a man and taking care of your family even if you don't believe in God? When are we going to start doing these things? We have to lead by example, and we have to speak out against it. And a lot of us are too displaced. A lot of us are too complacent. We don't use our voice. We don't speak out against it, and we don't get enough people emotionally involved. And now you see there are people from other countries where this stuff is literally happening in their country, and they're taking action. They're taking action. Look at this guy that went and attacked this Muslim guy. From one Muslim guy that wasn't radicalized to another Muslim guy that was radicalized. He grabbed him, threw his arm around his neck, and grabbed the rifle with the other arm and forced it out of his hands. He fell to the ground. The guy turned the weapon on him and was like, no, enough. That's a hero. When are we going to start stepping up to the plate, even if it takes costing a few lives to make the change? Sometimes that's what's necessary. Charlie even said that when people lost his message through his context. Having the Second Amendment is critical, and losing a few lives a year may be the very just cause of keeping the Second Amendment. And the reason why he said that is because if there's no death, if there's no life lost, then there's no reason for people to be able to defend themselves until there's a reason for people to defend themselves. That's what he meant. And people took that out of context. He meant that maybe there does need to be a few lives lost every year from stuff like this in order for us to continue to be able to protect ourselves. Because once we get to the point where we can't protect ourselves and legally carry a firearm to do this, to stop these threats in public, is when all chaos is going to break loose. When there's going to be dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens of people that are going to die. That's what he meant. He didn't say it as a cut to any group. He meant it from a logical standpoint, from an ethical standpoint, from a religious standpoint. That's what he meant. What I don't understand is how the rest of us can't see that. Why we're being misled by politicians and social media so much to the point where we hate each other. You know, there was at one point in time, there was a gentleman that just said exactly this, and you can take this to the bank. He said, maybe we should just turn it into a glass parking lot and be done with all this bullshit. Who said that? Who said we should turn this into this place where these radicals, where these terrorists and stuff are, should turn it into a glass parking lot and be done with all this? Who said that? And what political party were they affiliated with? I'll give you a second. Yeah, I get you. It's not a specific group. It's hate being used to justify killing. Exactly that. But it's people that are radicalized. Who remembers the glass parking lot comment? I got 58 people in here and 28 likes. Get those thumbs up so we can get this video out there and more people can see it. Who said turn it into a glass parking lot? Anybody? There's been plenty of presidents that have brought up glass parking lots. There was the Clintons definitely brought that up. They had a saying about the financial infrastructure and the banks and stuff failing that would just turn into a glass parking lot. Lightstorm said JFK's 1963 Fort Worth speech. You know, this has been touted for years and years and years. And there's been a constant draw to the Middle East. There's been a constant draw to the Muslim community and how radicalized it's been. There's been a constant draw to the people like Hamas and stuff like that, and how they believe they should be the only ones that are living. At one time, they were all peaceful. But instead, because of the wars and how badly people were treated, they become very radicalized. And now it's a thing now that's not going to go away. I don't believe that we should allow anybody from a Muslim country into the United States without having years of vetting done. Years of vetting done. If you're a radicalized community, or if you're Muslim, and you're coming to the United States for asylum, or for residency, or whatever it is, you should have to go through a process to where everything about your life, your religion and stuff like that, and what you've done is being looked at. Because we don't have the space for that here in the United States. Unfortunately, it's too late. A lot of them are already here. They're taking up and buying entire communities. The vetting process for specific religious groups needs to be much more strenuous than what it is. I don't know, guys. I don't really know. I just know that if we don't do something soon, if President Trump doesn't do something soon to stop this stuff from going on here, which he's actively doing now, just think about your children. Think about what they're going to look like when they're 20 and 30 years old, and what they're going to have to live in, and the society that they're going to be bringing their children up in, because we didn't do anything about it. There was a baby that died in that shooting in Australia, a child that died. Look what I got in. An older Ford Edge, 2008, with the good old tried and true 3.5 in it. It runs super quiet, and it's got new ignition coils and stuff in it. It's got a newer battery in it. This may have had the PCM replaced because one of the ignition coils may have backfed the driver circuit for the PCM, and they had to go replace the computer and everything, because those were notorious for that. Whenever the ignition coils would start to go bad. Ford Edge. Anyhow, I wanted to talk about these shootings lately, guys. It's just driving me crazy watching this and not saying anything. I was going to try to not talk about anything to do with these shootings or the Middle East or politics for a little while, but I just can't help it. I feel like if I don't do it, then I'm actually part of the problem. I need to speak about it. I have to be able to talk to you guys about it. And if this is the type of stuff you don't want to hear, well, I'm sorry, but it's going to be here. It has to be talked about. There needs to be way more people bringing it up. What are you talking about? Getting political. Sometimes you confuse me, Lightstorm. You make very short statements, and I have to question what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like new. Brakes are worn out, needs brake pads and rotors, so that's got to go. It's going to need brake pads, rotors, and probably tires. Oh yeah, this tire's dry rotted. It's been patched. It's from 21. It's no good. They're junk. It needs 4 tires. I'm going to recommend 4 tires. They're all different. 235, 60, or 18. Yeah, and that's another thing too. The trans community in general. If you actually talk to these people that have been trans advocates for a very long time. There's a guy that was doing a podcast or like a show not too long ago where he was getting interviewed. And he's one of the leading advocates for trans rights and stuff like that. And he says, I wish people years ago. He's been a successful trans person since the 80s. And he said, I wish people years ago would have educated us better. I wish I would have got the mental health help that I wanted early on, because it's caused a lot of problems in my life. Now I'm comfortable. Now I've learned to live with it all these years later, and now I'm at a happy place still being trans. But he said, I wish I would have had somebody guiding me, and I would have got the mental help early on, because he said, in all reality, this is a mental illness that leads to this. This is a mental disconnect with who you are biologically. And he said, I honestly believe that people do need mental help when they're going through this and they're talking about transition phasing and everything else, that they should be evaluated. They should go through a mental process and before even being able to do anything like this. And you should be an adult to make these decisions. You should not be a teenager. You should not be a child. You should be an adult, like a full-blown adult, like 21 and above type adult, before you make this decision. So, and that's another thing too, because a lot of the people from the trans community that get involved in these shootings and stuff as well, they feel like they're not being accepted. They feel like they're being judged. They feel like, they don't have a place to go talk and communicate. They feel like their parents don't respect them. I was just watching a snippet on Instagram the other day where there was a lesbian girl at home with her father, and he was walking into the room, and she's like dressed as a boy and everything else, or like a boy, and she records her father going off on her, and he's like, look, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I want you to just shut your mouth. I don't want you talking to me about this stuff. I don't want you teaching me about this stuff. I want nothing to do with you or your people. What part of that don't you get? I'm not for this. You knew I wasn't for this. You decided to do it anyway. What, am I supposed to change my beliefs because my daughter now, going into adulthood, has chosen to do this? I'm not doing this. I'm not going to cave my beliefs and stuff like that and what I believe in. And he said, if you would have had more to do with God, if you would have had more to do with the church and stuff like that, this wouldn't be going on. Do I think the father's at fault for not supporting his daughter? No. Do I believe that he loves her? Yes. Do I believe that he doesn't have space for that in his life at this time? Yes. But that right there alone can cause a child to rebel and possibly take the lives of their parents as well, because they don't feel accepted. I don't know what brand of tire I like. I mean, I like Goodyear. I like, really, to be honest with you, I know it's going to sound silly, but I've had the best luck with Kelly and Cooper tires, so I really like Cooper and Kelly tires. I'm at a point in my life where, look, I don't really judge people for believing what they believe, but when it starts to come to physical actions and doing it in front of other people and making other people uncomfortable, that's when you start to get judged by me. Toyos for your Raptor. Right, very good. Chinese ATs on your Ford Edge. I live close to DeKalb now. I'm glad. Missed the extra 3 miles to the gallon I had though. Yeah. What type of Ford Edge do you have? One like this? This is a limited. This one's nice. It's got rust spots and stuff all around the hood lip and the trunk lip in the back. It's a little banged up. The fender's banged up. But overall, it drove good coming in the shop. Looks like it's got new ignition coils and everything else. And if you know anything about Fords, these earlier models are notorious for the ignition coil going bad and backfeeding the driver circuit in the PCM and taking out the PCM as well. So a lot of times people replace the PCM, the spark plugs, and the ignition coils. $235, 60, 18. I need to check the condition of the battery again. Delete the resonator and muffler straight piped out the back. Oh, nice. My belief is who I am is who am I to judge what you like or don't like. If you're not breaking the law, let God judge you. Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I believe that as well. But when I think people should be judged is when they're making other people feel uncomfortable and you have no regard for their comfort or their life. That's when you should be judging other people. It's when I tell you that I don't feel comfortable with you doing this or being this way around me and you still continue to do it and then go over the top with it, you should be judged. Four scan mods, yeah. Bambi mode, deleted the start stop, the double honk with car running crap, yeah. All important stuff to get rid of. Alright, test this battery again. Oh, it's freaking cold, man. They keep opening that door over and over and over again. It is freaking cold. What year F-150s do you have? I don't know if this is an AGM battery or not. I think it is, but I don't know. I'm going to have to pull the terminal and check, and I really don't want to do that. I'm going to have to. I hate when they put the information for the battery underneath the part that yeah, it is an AGM battery. It's a 70 AH AGM 760 cold cranking amps. You had a 1550 used 23 F-150 50 police truck next spring. Do it. 02 Lightning and 2010 Raptor and 2020 Raptor. Well, look at you, Mr. Moneybanks over here. I have a 1850. Mistaking the existence of evil with the existence of weaponry is the biggest logical fallacy Western nations have made. Now, Tim, break that down for me in Barney terms, because I'm not that bright of a person when it comes to smart talk like that. I mean, I think I get what you're saying, but I don't want to assume. All right, let me test. I'm going to test this without the connection on. It's telling me the battery's no good. It's telling me it's not testing correctly. So it's an AGM. Okay, AGM. Cold cranking amps. 760. Yes. Testing. Replace battery, no good. Too much internal resistance and health is down to 52%. Okay, we will replace. Ta-da! So now what I want to do is I want to get in and check. I forgot. I don't know if I checked the wiper blades or not. I don't think I did. I got to check the wiper blades. I checked all the accessories. They all work. Fluids look good. Brake pads not so much. Tires not so much. Air filter needs to be replaced. Other than that, everything's good. The existence of guns versus the existence of evil people. I mean, to be honest with you, you think getting rid of all guns is going to solve anything? I mean, if that's what you're saying, you think just every single gun in the world is going to solve anything? You don't think anybody else is going to find a way to murder people? Who makes the best battery and what type? Nobody right now. I honestly don't believe anybody does. If I buy a battery, it's going to be a Walmart battery because I like the warranty and it's cheap and it's made by the company that bought out Johnson Controls, Carleos, whatever they're called, Carleos. I can't explain that to you, Rich. I don't know. I mean, carbon pile load testers they don't use anymore, so it is what it is. Either we move along with times or we don't. There's so many different batteries now as well. It's all up to you on what you want to believe and how you want to see things at the end of the day. Me, I'm okay with not having a carbon pile load tester just for the simple fact that This is much smaller and efficient. You may not trust it as much, but it seems to work pretty good overall. I haven't had an issue with them failing on me or anything. So, don't know. Okay, you think gun control is not a solution. And I agree with you, it's not. Gun control will not be a solution that's going to fix any of our problems with mass shootings and stuff. If anything, it's going to make it worse, because people that want to commit these crimes anyway are going to find a way to commit these crimes, and then we have no way of stopping them. It's just not going to happen. Let me get in here and check these wiper blades out. What do you mean look at Aussies? I just talked about that earlier when we started the stream. Oh, okay. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. I talked about that whole entire situation, and it's sad. I also talked about the 15-year-old that shot up his girlfriend's family down in Texas because he decided not to kill her out of school. He went to her family's house and shot the siblings and the mom. And then I also talked about the shooting that happened at that school in, what was it, Pennsylvania yesterday, where the guy just went in and started blowing people away. And they thought they had the suspect, but now they're saying today that they don't have it. Excuse me, hold on. Jeez. Hello. It's a good thing I checked those wipers because I think they're broken. I think the linkage is broken. Look at this. It's spraying, but ain't nothing happening. Oh yeah, the linkage is broken. I can hear it trying to work. I'm gonna have to take all that apart. I bet you somebody was trying to clear off. Oh yeah, it's broken. Yeah, I gotta get in. I gotta get inside this thing and figure out what's going on. I bet you the linkage probably snapped off of it, or... All right, well, that's gonna be a line added to the repair, obviously. Let me add that. Flat rate. Die of overdose. One murdered for selling in high school. I don't know. Do I like Kia? Kia and Hyundai seem to get a lot better from like 22, 23 on when their body styles changed and they went to a different like class engine and stuff. But overall, no, I don't. Well, that one's sent in. Got to get the Ford Edge in my stall now. Let me take this paperwork and get it turned in, and then I'm going to swap over this Edge into this spot. And actually, you know what? I may as well just jump off here. I've been on here for like almost an hour. Let me jump off here and continue getting my work and stuff done. And I'll come back a little bit this afternoon. I just wanted to talk to you guys about this stuff and be like, you know what? Don't be afraid to talk about these things, these shootings and stuff like that, man. Speak about it. It needs to be done. I wish you all a great day. I hope you're busy. I hope you're profiting. I hope you're turning hours, whatever it is that you're doing. Or if you're just home relaxing, have the best relaxing day you've ever had of your life. Have a great day. Thanks to my moderators for being here, Em. Appreciate you being here. Everybody, Chi-Town, Lightstorm, Tim, Paranormal, John, everybody. Anybody leaving Negan, Chris, shouting out the names that I see. Johnny Boy. OZ. Alright guys, I'm out. Y'all take care. Rich, have a great day.